Hello, CE495. This is Sunday morning. I tried to create another second example for Rhino3D Grasshopper into the SAP2000. So, as you can see, this is a more looks like arch structure. I just created with the grasshopper. Is similar to the previous truss. We can define some reference plane because I want to build this arch on XZ plane, so I define the grid arc right with the radius. So if I click it, let's see where.
Just try not to go full mascot when the deals hit. DoorDash. Order every Saturday. Stack up the savings. Win every week. See DoorDash.com. Terms and exclusions apply.
The next time you fly,
so
upgrade your
arc is
comfort to
inside.
Emirates Premium
It's not
Economy.
super clear.
Sink into soft leather seats with raised leg
transparency.
rests and
Alright,
adjustable
so
headrests.
you see that center line.
Elevate your dinner
So I
plans with
drew the
delicious regional dining, all served with
right,
complimentary
using the
premium drinks.
radius 100
Enjoy
feet.
endless entertainment
So
with up to
total span is
6,500
200 feet
channels,
span.
including live sports.
Now what I did is
There's
I
no
tried
other
to
premium
use just a
economy like it.
perpendicular flame
Fly
along
Emirates.
this line.
Fly better.
That is some setting, so
This is
I
the
need
story
to,
of
the
the
reason
one.
why
As
I'm
a
using
safety
it
manager at a
is that I
manufacturing
need to
plant,
define
he
the
does
cross
everything he
section
can to keep his
right from
coworkers
the
safe.
plan
From finding
like
ways
this,
to reduce
and
risks
then
to
project
keeping
it
safety supplies in stock.
along
And for
this
that, he relies on
the
Grainger.
perpendicular
Grainger offers a
frames.
broad range of quality
So what I
products
try to
and
do is
next-day
I try
delivery,
to sweep
so he can
this
always
cross
play it
section,
safe. Call 1-800
two cross section
Grainger,
at the
click
base.
Grainger.com, or just stop
The
by.
big
Grainger,
cross section
for the ones
that
who get it
goes
done.
up to the top. I'm gonna use a little small section so that make the this arch structure with the various cross sections, right? So this is something, the grasshopper tool, if you know it, this is something always helpful to kind of easy to build this geometry. Okay, so this is defining some perpendicular plane along the arc, and I chose the one reference perpendicular flame at the base, and there are a couple of components, but this is kind of simple. This is rectangular when you can see it, right? I define the cross sections, right? 6 feet by 30 feet, 6 feet by 30 feet, right? I draw this rectangular, and I using orient. First of all, I need to know that where is the centroid of this rectangular point as my reference point. So using area and using this as a reference centroid, plug in to this orient, the component. The reason why I need to project, see that. So I'll move this my reference rectangle into this my reference, the base arc point, right? So basically this is rectangular, but I need to define where the centroid, and this I just oriented move to that at the base of the arc along with centroid. So I do that. Second one is similar, right there, right? So the second one at the top, I want to use a 6 by 12, so I draw the rectangle, but same as the bottom cross section, I defined the centroid and orient it to the top. The centroid, the top of the arc. So with this perpendicular plane, the projected on current reference perpendicular frame. So with these two, right, this two less curved, I can use this sweep. So this sweep is basically, if you know the cross section and the reference curve, it just sweep and make some, let's say, surface. So if I turn back on, this one is gonna show you overall sweep. Which one is better? Okay, yes, sweep. Right, so it generates this sweep. I think it's surface. So what I'm gonna explain with this is all Rhino Grasshopper and stuff. Is really fun. So when you create it, the next step is we need to just use some lunchbox, but I deconstruct the BREP. They're using BREP. This is multi-surface, the kind of assembly. So I explore. So each face I want to build some truss. So because this is 3D multi-surface, I have to break it into the 1, 2, 3, 4 surface, and using triangular panel or quad panel, I could create the this truss, the truss line. This is actually surface, a truss type of a panel, and also I can create this quad panel by using these two components. Eventually what I need is all the reference line. So with this panel I just explore and I deconstruct, and I need to get this the edges, right, truss edges. So when I click this surface, you see the old center line or reference my line, so that I can use this old reference line for building a structural model. So if I right click and bake, okay, basically I create the line, the curve. So now for analysis purpose now, and then assigning the load purpose, the engineer has two maybe preference choices, either using line loading and surface loading. Since we have a taper surface, I prepare area uniform loading for maybe cladding, some composite dead load, and also wind load assignment. So that's why I set it up this quad panel. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna bake again. So at this moment I have a two line and surface. So because I bake, right, the curve and surface. So it's time to convert, export this old surface and line, export to the IGS file. So this one I already name it, but I'm gonna create example 3 or 2B, right? But I chose IGS format and save it, and I keep the fit as a original. So I think it's a geometry already created. So in the SAP, I open the SAP, choose a fit, go to file again, import IGS. So I'm gonna choose that file 2B, and I'm gonna bring surface and curve. Alright, okay, so now every 3D geometry is transferred. So some quickly I want to show that just procedure it depends on, but I'll just gonna select the 8 point and assign the pin connections here, right? Boundary condition. And default, I'm sure SAP always has a default 18 by 35, but this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna use W section. And so I'm gonna go to define menu, frame section. I'm gonna import some, let's say, pipes properties. So maybe let's choose 6 inches diameter. I have to choose the material, but I'll just wanna leave it. Or you could go to define a material. You can import that pipe, typically ASTM A53 grade B, right, is pipe material. So I import the material properties and go to section property and P6, open this. I change that material properties associated with the typical the pipe material properties. So okay, so basically what we did is import all geometry, assign the boundary conditions, and then section properties, right? Since this is arch or steel the steel, let's see, yeah, we didn't assign the section property yet. Okay, still 18 by 35. So for example, I select all this, go to assign frame and frame section. I'm gonna assign section property to 6. Basically this all is a truss member, right? So that connection is mostly pin connections. Just for simplicity, I'm gonna just choose all, go to frame and make moment release, so that every member is just only carrying the actual force. Okay, and default, did you remember that default? Yeah, we have Dello self-fade. Only load pattern is set. Maybe let's try to run test run and see how this structure behave. Okay, I need to save this. Example 2. Okay. Alright, so it ran then based upon the self-fade load. So maybe surface, I need to check the surface loading too. But just for gravity loading, I want to check my model is everything is connected and behave based upon my expectation. So first of all, you can play around. This is YZ 3D, right? You could just turn on the deflection and wire shadow. Maybe you can turn on, or if you can use you want to use a contour, show continuous contour, you can just look at it. So maybe you can spin it. Right, if you want to see some animation to graphically see more, right? So you see that some motion, deflection shape based upon self-fade. And if you want to see primary actual force, this maybe to scale is too much, so I'm gonna reduce the scale, maybe 0.25. The 7 etaps typically default the color. The red is typically compression, see the minus negative, and yellow or other color is tension. So just want to make sure, since this is arch member, the general primary, our chord member, top and bottom chord experiencing the relatively high compression forces, right? So I think first of all, since you guys learn new tools, I want you to find a couple of reasons to get motivated and play with, so that if you practice a couple of times, I think you'll get into that. So I want to make sure you guys actually enjoy learning. So one thing that, since you guys interest for graphic purpose, let me just, alright, so this is actually member I assigned the P6, right? It's a 6-inch diameter pipe. So go to checkbox, go to general option, you can make extrusion. The one thing we need to adjust is this surface thickness, because otherwise maybe default surface is pretty significant. So go to section properties and area section, right? Let's see, default is 1 feet. Oh wow, this is crazy, right? So for now we haven't touched the shell yet, but default is 1 feet is too big, so I just reduced the thickness. So this one, the thickness is pretty thin now, and what I want to show you, maybe you can select, and analysis is already done. Later on we're gonna talk about design, but I want you to just play with SAP and learn import and export as much as possible. So I'm gonna export my the 3D extruded model into the DXF file. Okay, when you export it, you may have to choose it, but I will just usually keep this default. So
it's summer,
let's
and the
check
Catskills
let's
are
find
calling.
the file.
Plan the perfect
Where
vacation
is
at the
that?
Cartwright Resort, New York's biggest indoor water
Okay,
park, where one night stay gets you 2 days at the park. In addition to slides and
Okay.
splashes, head outside to miles of hiking trails,
So
s'mores
DXF
by the
file,
fire,
where is the
and
DXF
daily
file?
activities for the whole family.
Okay,
With
here,
a bus that takes
we
you
just
direct
create
from
the
New York
DXF
City,
file,
there's
right?
no excuse for
So
missing the fun.
maybe
Visit
try to bring
thecartwright.com
this.
for details.
Here. Before do that, maybe I can move this one, because this is here. I'm gonna move this one and insert, right? Insert 000 fits layout unit. I don't know, it should be fit. Okay, oh, maybe 000. All right, so I want you to think about it. I want you to pay attention. This is the model I created with the Grasshopper. This one is a SAP, but with the section property extrusion, right? With the extrusion. So if you want to render, probably you could see this. There's some section profile, right? Right? You see that? But this one is only one line. So let me just, this one is same model I imported, but I'm gonna move it and try to show you one more time that this. So the Rhino Grasshopper has some pipe components, so graphically you can see much better before you analyze it. Just reviewing the geometry, design intent, right? So all the line you can assign some pipe width, diameter. This one maybe I can reduce it a little bit, but so I think I think all the phase the designer when they look into the overall design pattern, with the after you finish the Grasshopper geometry, this is a pipe. It's just pipe. The extrusion is really helpful to understand overall aesthetic, the feature of the design. Okay, so I'm gonna just for now end this video. I'm gonna send this Rhino file. I want you to practice, and next week we can talk about it a little bit more. All right, good.